Hello folks. Today we're looking at, right now, the longest and largest river in the entire Pacific Northwest. It's a beautiful scene in front of us. Over there beyond the river, well, that's a land that's foreign to us. Not for long though. But this river stretches for hundreds of miles and has a watershed that is larger than any other river watershed that drains into the Pacific on the North American continent. We're really high up here. We're at what's known as Vista Point, Crown House area, and it's hundreds of feet below that we see this mighty river take its course. Clearly very, very windy here. I'm going to resume my monologue in a minute, but what you need to know today is that we are going to pay tribute to the great Columbia River Gorge, because once this river joins forces with all its tributaries, it's got to go somewhere. When with all that power, the mountains right here really block the force of the water in all directions, all locations, except for this one gorge. Today we honor this beautiful stretch of, well, let's just put a pun to it, gorgeous beauty, as all the power of this river eons ago found its way across one narrow pass of the Cascades, and today ever since has flown directly to the Pacific Ocean. Alright, much more protected from the winds, right? Well, we're still not protected from the huge crowds that are here. Just our luck that we happen to have this adventure on a weekend in the middle of the afternoon on a nice warm day in Oregon. Yeah, so this is a huge tourist attraction, drawing in thousands of people from around the world. You're going to be very, very lucky if you have this place all to yourself. Well, one thing you can count on if you are able-bodied is your capability to walk long distance. Most of these crowds are only going to stay for that short little view, and they won't bother to do something that is a little more long distance with maybe just as good views of the falls. This is Lateral Falls, one of the many, many waterfalls you will see here at the Columbia River Gorge. Now, this waterfall and many of the waterfalls you'll see, as we'll see today, are no Niagara Falls. But one thing you can count on is that these are very, very, very tall waterfalls. When you think about it, the topography here at the Columbia River Gorge is something not to dismiss at all. It is something rather to marvel at. When you think about the topography and the gradient, it starts from sea level, 0 feet. That's where the river's very, very close to the Pacific Ocean. And then it ascends all the way up to the peaks of these mountains, 4,000 feet above sea level. It's very impressive here. And this is Bridal Veil Falls. Now, I could have sworn, maybe whether or not I showed it to you all the way back in Niagara Falls State Park, there was another waterfall that was called Bridal Veil Falls. It was one of the main waterfalls on the New York State side, but I can't argue with the naming convention here. So to be fair to the Bridal Veil Falls here in Oregon, it does look like a veil that a bride would wear. So let's see if we can get a closer look at this waterfall. No plumbing system involved, this is all natural. And to think all of this water goes directly to the great Columbia River. Yeah, even simple waterfalls have its own complex of gift shops and cafes for refreshments. Actually pretty funny. Well, that's what you get with an American attraction. And here, up ahead, is the real attraction. Never mind all the gift shops and pastry items. This is the tallest waterfall in all of Oregon. This is Multnomah. "620 feet is what you get with Multnomah Falls." Yeah, it's a behemoth. So much water falling at such a steep rate. Such a powerful waterfall. Setting the scene for you guys all. There's mist coming at us hundreds of feet away from the actual fall, drenching us in a cloud of mist. The water pounding down ever so forcefully, it almost sounds like thunder. Well, I definitely feel the power. Well, as you can see from our day to day, this Columbia River Gorge deserves some sort of status designation, right? For its outstanding degree of natural beauty, from waterfalls to just the river and the mountains beside them. Well, that's exactly right. Today, the area surrounding this Columbia River is known as the Columbia River Gorge National Scenic Area, and it operates under the administration of the U.S. Forest Service. No, originally I thought that this was a National Park Service designation, but no, the U.S. Forest Service gets this area all to themselves. Well, hopefully not. Hopefully they share with the public, because this is a beautiful area. I don't mean the wreckage or these abandoned cars, no, no sir. I mean everything around here. By the way, we're standing in front of the Bridge of the Gods. Right in the heart of this gorge is a bridge that connects two different states. Well, we're here in Oregon, but what's on the other side? That is the state of Washington. Not to be confused with Washington, D.C. The state of Washington lies just north of the Columbia River. Washington State is essentially the closest neighbor to Oregon in terms of culture. It's that other joint state of the two twins of the Pacific Northwest, Washington and Oregon. But enough on that, we'll eventually get there. Yeah, let's not spoil that state. Good to see you, Washington State. It's a pleasure to meet you. We'll meet you in detail a little bit later. Nothing like ending the day with a nice walk on the beach. Do you call this a beach if it's mostly just small rocks and not silt or sand? So the Columbia River is no doubt a beautiful one. That's why there's a national scenic area for the Columbia River. But why is this important? Why am I shedding such a spotlight on this one river today? I guess the walk ends here, but I still gotta end the video off somehow. Yeah, the Columbia River is very, very important. If it weren't for these waters, the Pacific Northwest would not be as we see it today. These waters created an atmosphere where lush vegetation could grow all around, providing a great climate for the first people to settle here. Not to mention, this river made for some great lands to cultivate into farmland. So the people coming west along the Oregon Trail found at the very end of their long and arduous journey a great Columbia River, and they knew they had made it to the end of the trail. Oregon country. From the beginning of Pacific Northwest human habitation, this Columbia River was a vital link to various disparate cultures hundreds of miles away. Because through its tributaries, one could get a message, a resource, a wave of human settlement a long way. Long distance connection, long distance travel was possible through this vital artery. I mean, these Cascade Mountains are a powerful force. These mountains separate various ecosystems, various climates, and for a long time, various people. But if you were within the network of this Columbia River, it doesn't matter whether you were through this main Columbia River artery, or maybe the Snake River, or the Deschutes River, or whatever other tributary was here that connected to this main stem. It provided people a lifeline. Even today, the Union Pacific Railroad that we got a glimpse at throughout various montages uses this valley, this gorge, as its main corridor through these mountains, from the Pacific to the rest of the Union. And as you all can probably assume, this river and its surrounding countryside provides great, ample outdoor recreation opportunity, not just hiking that we did a bit of, or biking along trails, but water sport, boating. Hey, there's even plenty of fish around here. I can only assume that plenty of anglers will take advantage of these waters to catch a nice trout or salmon. I guess that's what this river offers. Lots of Pacific Northwest fish. So it's here we end our video at a great sunset looking at the Columbia River. Oregon, Washington. I've got to say though, I was looking forward to some nice adventuring, feeling like, you know, we were out in the middle of nowhere. But no, this area is full of tourists and tourist opportunities. It really feels like a nationwide, well-known attraction that brings people not only from around the country, but all around the world. So what I'm saying is, don't expect a nice, rugged adventure. As much as this screams frontier country, it's not. There's plenty of people around. But I guess the next best thing you can do is just pretend, right? That this is a wide open, expansive land. I mean, it is. But let's pretend there's nobody here. That we are the only ones alone on our journey. I mean, it's an achievement enough that we're now maybe a month in. I've been on the road for a little over a month now away from home, and well, it's a nice view to say, hey, what an achievement it's been. That we're a little more than halfway done with our Best of the Most West tour, but it still feels like we got plenty of journey. This is not the end of the line. This may be Oregon country, Lewis and Clark's final destination westward before they returned, but we still got plenty more to cover on the coverage project here on our Best of the Most West. So we'll leave it off at that, ending our day at the Columbia River Gorge National Scenic Area. catching a glance at this beautiful, almost sunset. The sun's about to come down on this giant river, gorge. More travels to come. I will see you at the next location.